everyone, Travis here, and welcome back to another Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 Mega Park episode here on SimFox. In today's episode, we will be obviously picking up from where we left off last time, but I just wanted to point out that this is actually episode 20, which is kind of a bit of a milestone. I think this is one of the only series that I have, at least of my personal parks, that have had this many episodes. Which is kind of cool. I know this park has been slow progress lately, and I do apologize for that. I'm having a hard time staying engaged and motivated in this project. But, you know, slowly but surely we will keep plugging away at this, and everything that I've been adding recently is of decent quality, so at least I'm not, you know, putting in a bunch of crap to fill in space. A little bit of a shorter episode today. Basically my goal for this episode is to finish in the Ghost Town area, and then I will also prepare the land a little bit more for the expansion that I talked about in the last episode. If you remember correctly, I mentioned that I am wanting you guys to come up with the theme for that area, and I did get a few suggestions, ranging from sci-fi all the way to my mom as a theme. Unfortunately, the area is not big enough to fit my mom. Sorry, that's terrible. But anyway, I've narrowed it down to two possible choices. The first one is probably the one I'm more leaning towards, which is Alpine, and then the other one is sci-fi. Obviously, those are two very different themes, so again, I'm going to need your help deciding between the two, so let me know in the comments below which one you think I should proceed with. Keep in mind, you'll see the area here later in the video. It is a bit of a mountainous sort of area, and the goal is to have kind of a terrain-ish coaster in there. And so that's why I'm leaning more towards Alpine. I think that would fit a little bit better than sci-fi, but I just wanted to let you all know that I did listen to all of the suggestions, and I am considering, you know, at least a couple of them anyhow. I did go back through several of the previous episodes in this series, I think from episode 14 until episode 19, so those 5 episodes. I think that's 5. Can I math? I don't know. But anyway, and looking for ride name suggestions and comments that have been missed in the past. If you commented on a video and I haven't answered yet, it doesn't mean I'm not going to. It just means that for the time being, your comment wasn't what I was going through looking for. Particularly, I was looking for ride name suggestions, but it seems like I've got most of them. The only one that I found that I didn't notice before is Marcus Cheung suggested that this mine train coaster be called Canyon Caper, which I think, you know, fits the idea of a mine train, even though it kind of doesn't necessarily correspond with the Ghost Town theme so much. I think, you know, it could be argued that that coaster was built before this area was themed this way, and so to keep with the classic sort of name and history of that coaster, they kept the name as Canyon Caper, and I like it. One thing that kind of annoys me about the mine train is that I kind of had to visually fake it for the terrain, since I did the individual like tile pulling up technique, which does look good, but the problem is I didn't really do a very good job of setting up the base for it, and so you'll see that a lot of the areas where the coaster actually is, it's kind of flat and not choppy, and so I'm covering it with trees and shrubs and whatever to make it look a little bit more rocky and textured. For future terrain coasters, I think I'm going to set it up a little bit differently so that it will make more sense overall. You know, I guess kind of my idea was that is actually a fake mountain, you know, that the park added to correspond with the mine train. And you know, there wasn't actually a mountain there to begin with. And so, you know, like if you look on the edges of it, where it's at the edge of the park map, you know, you see tall kind of the back wall of it, which would be kind of, I guess, a backstage area in a way, or at least, you know, a part of it that the guests would never see. Something like that. In general, I do like the way this area turned out. I know it may seem a little bit rushed in the last couple episodes, but I have been working on this area for a really long time, and I wanted to finish it so that I could have like an official finished area of the park, because as of right now, the only area that is finished is the water park area, and only some of the rides over there are actually rideable, so it's kind of dead in terms of guest activity and stuff over there. And but because I did rush it a little bit in the last couple of episodes and just added some random stuff to it, especially with the vegetation and stuff, I may go back in off camera and do some updating and upgrading of some of the things before I release this park. And speaking of, being that this is the 20th episode, I will be including a download link for this park in its current state. I know some of you have asked for the blank, I guess, scenario or workbench for this, and unfortunately that doesn't exist anymore. You know what, actually, I might have a blank one. Let me double check. If I do, it'll be in the description with the with this version as well. The objects and stuff used in this, as I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, are kind of a little bit weird. I went through when I made this. I used my project park map for this, and at the time that I created that years ago, I didn't know much about like proper workbenches and like scenery sets and all of that, how they can work to complement each other. Like right now, I pretty much use the Louis set exclusively. There's also Show Tour 2. That workbench is pretty good, although I don't have the official bench for that. I just obviously have all of the sets. So I guess I could go in and make the bench, but of course it wouldn't be fully proper. But anyway, so when you do download this park, please forgive kind of the eclecticness of it. There are some great objects in it, and as you can tell, I've managed to make some pretty great stuff with it, but it's not exactly what I'm using in my newer projects today, so be mindful of that. And dang, time flies when you're having fun. It's already time for my closing sort of spiel. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see. Subscribe if you haven't already. I want to thank you all for your continued support, and for those of you who are new, I appreciate you joining the family. And with that said, you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, etc., wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all next time.